Welcome back to the Pineapple Perspective with Troy Hooper, sponsored by Pepper Lunch Restaurants. I guess if you've listened to any of these episodes before, you figured out that I just kind of have a conversation with friends because all of my introductions have been over the top and sort of obvious that I know these folks a little bit. Today is no exception. Today we have a very good friend of mine, Sam Stanovich. Sam is currently the head of development at Big Chicken, and that is Shaq's Big Chicken, Shaquille O'Neal's founded concept. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But Sam's an awesome dude. We get to spend a lot of time together on the road at all these conferences and events, and then we get to lean on each other and share resources and talk about the business on a pretty regular basis. So I talk to Sam all the time, but this is a great opportunity, Sam, to talk about different things that you and I would normally not sort of find our way to talk about because we're so busy in the day to day and talking about what's happening in our lives in that way. But say hi, everybody, Sam.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Troy. Yes, my name is Samuel Stanovich. I'm the Senior Vice President of Franchise Leadership and Alliances for the one, the only Shaquille O'Neal's Big Chicken. And super excited to be with you. As Troy mentioned, we've gotten to know and gotten close. Troy gives me a lot of guidance and experience and mentorship. So it's a privilege to be on your show today, Troy.
Well, far more vice versa, my friend. And like I said, we'll talk about this Big Chicken thing. But my first question about that is, did you come up with your own title, or did somebody give that title to you? Because that's a pretty long, fancy title.
I created my own opportunity. I mean, we are developing a concept. So I
Yep.
mean, why not change the worlds of titles and be a little bit more reflective of the fun opportunities that I get to deal with every day.
I got to come up with something other than CEO. We have to get fancy over here.
Well, there was one executive today that clickbait everybody online and said he was resigning as CEO and is now Chief Energy Officer. So
Oh,
I thought that was a good title.
initials are
So
the same, though. Initials are the
same
same.
initials, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
got everybody
cool.
going.
All right. So, Sam, how we start this off a little bit different kind of conversation, a little bit different kind of show. I want to ask you, as a lifelong hospitality executive, what does hospitality mean to you?
Hospitality means the wants, desires, and privilege to serve others and to care about our community.
I love that. That's very different from all the other guests. I love that this question evokes a different perspective. Um, Expand on that a little bit more. When you say that, what does that look like? What does that feel like? How do you bring that to life in a couple of examples?
So at the end of the day, Troy, we have to realize that we are in the hospitality business, not the hostility business. Our job and hopefully goals and objectives of everybody that's listening, whether you're regardless of the side of the fence you're on, whether it's food, hotels, gaming, whatever it is, our job is to provide experiences, to provide pleasure to those consumers and guests that are walking through our doors every day. For them to get that moment in time, that break, that refresh, whatever it is, the reason that they're walking in and not consuming their food at home, they're not staying at home, but they're going out and having an experience in life and hopefully enjoying that experience, telling people about it. It's not just the need to consume food for energy, but it's a need and wants to do it. And it's our privilege to be able to serve them every day and give them that experience. At the end of the day, we're not curing cancer. We're not flying people to the moon, even though Big Chicken is the only intergalactical restaurant group in the galaxy. We're providing that experience, and that heartfelt service is what it's all about.
So, Sam, we like to get to the foundations on this show. Tell me where you came up with your belief system around hospitality. So, when I asked you that question and the way you answered it, where did you form that? How did that become your answer?
So I think it goes back to let's think of our foundations of people and our families, and let's go back to the caring and compassion that our parents give us or our loved ones give us, right? And that feeling, everybody has the basic feeling and premise of wants and needs, right? And we want to be loved, we want to be appreciated, we want that emotional connection, right? So I think it starts when you grow up, at least for me, in a big ethnic Greek household, right? and you have that feeling because you're always serving people in the house, right? People are coming to visit you, right? Or you're going to visit somebody. That's where the roots of that hospitality just start. And then we were very poor growing up and took our vacation when I was 13 years old to go visit my grandparents in Arizona. And I stayed at my first hotel, and it was Westcourt in the Buttes. And I thought the greatest job ever was being a bellman, because you got the ability to welcome people into this neat hotel and this neat environment where people were smiling and excited and engaged, and they're taking a break from their day-to-day life. And really that started to instill that walk on me. And I started investigating, what is this hospitality industry, and had the fortunate opportunity to work within Marriott. And Marriott just ingrains that culture of service and that spirit to serve. And I think I just naturally had it within me from my roots growing up all the way through that first experience.
That's amazing. There's always an origin story, and I love to pull that out of folks to see where they have come to their belief system. So, Sam, you're the head of not only franchise sales, but really all development. You really oversee and lead from the front in this organization around where these stores go, how they get built, what they look like, all that good stuff as well. One of the thesis of my show is to really make it a point that people understand that, not only every business is in the people business, because that's sort of an old adage, an old saying, but that we're all actually in the hospitality business. And to go back to how you describe hospitality, how others on this show and myself describe hospitality, essentially at the end of the day, we're making memories, we're creating a feeling, we're providing some kind of service that elevates a human's experience. And I wonder, when you think about your role in a hospitality company, but not always out front. Now, I know you spend a lot of time in the kitchen. You spend a lot of time at the front counter. You throw amazing grand openings. I was a great beneficiary of being a part of that. But outside of what we might all think of as the normal hospitality activity of a restaurant operating human being, but when you think about on your day to day, the mundane pieces of your day to day, how do you deploy that mindset of hospitality, that belief system of hospitality in what you do? So hoping that somebody's listening to this and going, yeah, but how do you deliver hospitality when you're a accountant or a salesperson or a this or a that? I think there's always a way to sort of illuminate that. So how do you bring hospitality to your day to day?
Well, it's a culture of how you deal with everybody and your teammates, right? What you have to understand is the final end product, right? The food that we're serving you in the restaurant, or the hotel room that you're checking in, is a product of a lot of other people's work and effort. There are many, many unsung heroes in our supply chain of the hospitality industry. And there's a lot of people that are behind the scenes that are supporting it. Whether it is the IT department, let's look at, and I was an ex laundry manager in a hotel, right? Without those teammates, the hotels don't run, right? Without our waste removal, the hotels don't run. So when you think of our industry, we have to go all the way back to, you want to talk about origins, where do the products originate and how do they get from point A to point B? Because there's a lot of A.1, A.2, A.3 before it gets to B, right? And there's a lot of people that have to touch and handle it. So it isn't just that end product, but it's all those teammates, it's all those partners. How do you bring that all together for it to work? Because it isn't just magical that, our chicken sandwich shows up in your restaurant. We have to source it. We have to have it brined. We have to have it shipped. There are a lot of people that make this industry great. And I think that's one of the neat things, and why we are the second largest employer in America behind healthcare, is the fact that we can provide so many different opportunities that are quote unquote in the hospitality sector.
Yeah, and amen to that. I mean, it's one of the mindsets of, from a leadership perspective, when you have that person get their first job in your restaurant, whether it's busboy, host, whatever that is, and understanding that, man, there's a journey of lessons here that can apply no matter what they become. And you and I have been in this a long time. I've had many, many, many employees, and in my time, I've had the great pleasure of see people go off and become doctors, nurses, lawyers, airline pilots, engineers, all kinds of jobs. And I always remember back to when that was a teenager or 20 something college age student just working a hospitality job, a restaurant job, and remember saying to them, hey, if you take this seriously, if you really apply yourself, we will invest in you. We will help give you the skills that will help you in your future, no matter what you do. I know 99% of you are not going to stay in the restaurant business the rest of your life. So speaking of that, you've got a pretty storied history. You've got a pretty mixed history in this business. You're in hotels. You've been a franchisee. You're a leader on franchisor, but you've also been involved on kind of a unique side of this business. I want you to talk a little bit about your time in the associations, National Restaurant Association. You've been a volunteer and involved in the homeless shelter business and association or nonprofit world. So talk a little bit about that, because I think, again, sort of shows the recipe that builds a human. And we want to dig into what sort of makes up Sam Stanovich.
Well, and that's the interesting thing is I had a professor at Johnson and Wales that had said it's 80% who you know and 20% of what you know. And our industry provides so many forks in the road, right?
Yeah.
But there's no place that I'd rather be. There's an interesting stat. The NRA says 1 in every 4 start their careers in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
We are the only industry that not only can take the 14-and-a-half-year-old, but we can also take somebody who's had a tough time under luck, somebody that may have had a setback in life, and develop them into multimillionaires. I mean, I always remember the Cameron Mitchell story, how he talks about being last in his graduating class and most likely to do nothing with their life and become a multimillionaire. For me, my journey was I was very headstrong early that, Marriott was where I wanted to be. And because of collaboration, because of meeting people and embracing people and listening and saying, okay, how do I give back? I participated in Naperville on the Convention Visitor Bureau and Economic Development Partnership and really saw the value of mentors and folks who, as you develop your own personal board of directors, will advise and help and support, and really showed me an opportunity to lead a nonprofit here, a Convention and Visitor Bureau, and to learn how to take risks, because it was still in the wheelhouse. It was still doing marketing for restaurants and hotels. It was just running it from a CEO seat of a nonprofit. And, as you pivot and you spread your wings, sometimes you have to take that proverbial, if the door's open, walk through it. Right? Because I never thought my career was ever going to leave Marriott. I thought it was going to be a 30-year plus career, work my way up through the corporate ladder. I loved what I did. I was passionate about it. My friends, matter of fact, some of my best friends are still Marriott employees, right? But I really settled in because of my father and my professors, and saying, hey, take those advantages. When you have really smart people who are smarter than you, and they give you the advice of, hey, walk through that door of opportunity, go try it, then why not? And that just led me to expand. And, by doing that and getting that government relations experience under my belt, when the National Restaurant Association Educational Foundation came looking for somebody who had a mix of operator experience and government relations, the unintended byproduct was by taking that risk, right? So I got to launch the Serve Safe alcohol product, and I got to be, believe it or not, the face of responsible alcohol service. And I got to travel the country and train, get back to my roots in training and hospitality, but then also advocate for the importance of responsible alcohol service, which today is more important than ever. And grow through the membership ranks and industry relations, and really widen my horizons and build that network of people who invested in me, invested in having those honest dialogues and express what opportunities out there. And really, when I had that itch to get back into the industry, I had the fortunate blessing of seeing so many different things that I selected the opportunity to go with Firehouse Subs as an area developer and a franchisee, and really test my wings, because no reason to leave a great trade association. You can be comfortable, but as an entrepreneur at heart, or a franpreneur as we like to call it, to get out there and put your name on the check and risk everything you have. Some of us have it. And that's what makes America special, is the opportunities that are presented at all times to go after things. So really, looking at it, it was a cross section of having people in my court who supported me. I'll never forget the night that one of my mentors is John Taffer, and he was in town for Chicago, and he took me to dinner, and he sat down. And he says, "All right, explain to me what, why, and how you're doing this, and I'm in your corner," and walk through the exercise of what it was like to be an entrepreneur. And his advice was, you got to go do it. You have to take the risk. You have the fire. Go try it. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, at the end of the day, the worst thing possible is you lose your money, right? But you know what you can do? You can pick yourself up and you can start over. Or what you learn once you become the entrepreneur, and once your name is on that check, and you think about for me personally, I think about my immigrant grandparents who came to this country with a suitcase and $100, and I wasn't going to let them down. And every day when you get up and you look in that mirror and you set your goals and you say who you are and what you want to do, guess what? You're not going to let yourself down. Will you struggle? No doubt about it. Will you have the emotional roller coaster? No doubt about it. But if you stay the course and you serve excellence and you strive for excellence and you grind it out, you can be successful, and anybody can do it.
That's a phenomenal speech, my friend. I mean, that's going to be quoted, and it's going to be clipped, and it's going to be on your LinkedIn profile by the end of the week. And by the way, quote of the day, quote of the show, maybe quote of the series. I heard you say personal board of directors. That is a phenomenal way to look at mentors and community and collection of peers and colleagues and people that have come before you and people that are coming behind you, to sort of build out that idea of having a nucleus of people around you. I love the title, personal board of directors. I love that.
You have to, Troy, because if you think about it, if you can arrive and create that personal board, right? A lot of us, you have your parents and your relatives. They're not, most of the time, they're not in our business, right? And parents are skewed. Me being a parent, you being a parent, having parents, we're skewed for our children or our family, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, we're not objective to the situation, right? So it's very hard. Yes, they're going to cheer for you. And if somebody did you wrong, well, screw them, because it isn't ever you. But when you develop this personal board of directors and you develop a group of people who are in your corner that you can trust, that you can have a conversation with, that you can be transparent and open under any condition, right? You and I have a very good relationship. I would consider you on my personal board of directors, Troy, because we can be honest with each other. And you know what? We may not agree, and you may hang up the phone on me, but I know damn well I can call you back tomorrow, and you're going to pick up the phone, and we're going to keep the conversation going, because it wasn't personal. It was striving for excellence on both sides. So when you get those 5 or 6 people that are your champion, that can be objective with you, that can call you out and say, hey, you know what? You really didn't do right there. So you should really think about that, and just be, give you that honest gut check, right? You need to have those people that are in your corner that you can trust with the most amount of confidentiality, and be vulnerable, right? And once you develop that personal board of directors, man, your career can go so fast, so quick. They'll help you. You're going to help them. But remember, if people come and do it for you, the most important thing is you need to pay it forward and help others. Yep. And so whether you have your own personal board of directors or you serve on somebody's board of directors, that's what's key.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a beautiful statement. I think it's a great lesson, and I hope a lot of people will take that to heart. So you're a franchisee in the Firehouse system, multi-location, and tell me, is this sort of where the franchise business understanding and acumen around the franchising business? How did you get from association to franchisee and franchisee to franchisor leadership team? I think that's an interesting sort of transition.
I entered the Firehouse Subs as an area developer and a franchisee. So I had 2 franchise agreements, and I entered it because I liked the strategic development. I liked the broad negotiation. And we could build and scale a team because I'm a scaler. I am not necessarily the founder. I never got up in culinary program and thought, oh, if I put flavor A and B together, I'm going to have the next great dish, right? My skill has always been, how do I take that wheel and move it from 25 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour? That's how I'm wired. That's how I think. Let's make it move faster. So if I can get what it looks like, and I can be the accelerant to it,
Yeah.
that's my strength. That's my what I do best. And what I do best is bring people together, right? And how do I marry that? And that's where, the opportunity had presented itself with Firehouse, an up and coming sub shop in the Chicago market. And how are we going to pour some accelerant and develop some restaurants, develop my own restaurant? I had the independent restaurant experience under my belt, much, much harder than a franchise, because at least in a franchise, you get a playbook, you get a logo.
Yeah.
You don't need to make every single decision, and you learn as an independent how many decisions there are to make with no support, and you have to fail fast and keep moving, versus being in a franchise where you get a playbook and an opportunity to continue to mull and move faster. So seeing both sides of it, for me, my choice is I like franchising. I prefer that. I actually did a stint back in the day. I got referred into a group of franchise brokers and disliked that world because I wasn't passionate about what we were selling or working on. Whereas here, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. I believe in the brand. I believe in the food, and I believe in the people. Right. And I work every day for our franchisees. That's my main focus, is how do I be that accelerant for them to do the best possible job that they can do? How do they serve the best chicken sandwich? How does our team motivate them to move across and continue to develop? And that's my customer, right? And then of course, if I'm in the restaurant, the customer is the customer, and I love being behind the register and working that. But at the end of the day, those are the things that we have to do and what we have to think about, and putting people in business, giving them the opportunity to live their American dream. And I mean, how much more fun is it than having a 7'1" NBA superstar as your boss and chairman of your board, and a guy who just loves chicken sandwiches, playful at the same time? So when your whole deal is, let's go put smiles on people's faces, right? Let's give them an affordable luxury. Let's give them big flavor and big fun. I mean, what a great concept to live and breathe every day. That's the magic of what I get to do now.
Yeah. And it's really obvious that you enjoy the hell out of it. And you do have a cool brand that is playful, and a playful boss with a personality that shines through and lets you guys sort of be creative. I think that's all part of the magic of, any building any quality brand, but being just so damn authentic. So now that we've danced around it, we've touched on it, and now we're sort of talking about it. For those in the world that have yet to have the great experience of enjoying a Big Chicken, what the heck is Big Chicken? Where did it come from? Give us that infomercial.
So the infomercial is very simple. We were founded by Shaquille O'Neal for his love of his mother's cooking and chicken sandwiches. It's comfort food to him. It's passion to him. Every time he is near a big chicken, he loves to get in. So it's simple. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? How does he get to share his love and passion for food and fun with the masses, right? And that's what it's all about. We're a very laser-like focused concept. We do tenders, chicken sandwiches. We've got a few things coming out of the hopper come September of 2024. We've got decadent milkshakes. We've got noise in our restaurant with an awesome playlist that Shaquille curated. We've got fun things on the TV. Some of our restaurants have either foosball tables or NBA Jam games, because at the end of the day, we want to welcome everybody into our restaurants, Troy. We want to have something that's available for everyone. When you look at our menu and our design of our menu, it's about the flavor wheel. It's about getting it, whether you like it plain or you like it Nashville or you like it Buffalo. It's about giving you the flavors that are welcoming to what you enjoy, right? Can we do it grilled? 100%. Do we have salads for those wanting, like myself, not to have the carbs? 100%. But at the end of the day, we want you to be able to bring your kids in. We want you to bring your friends in. We want you to bring your families in. And we want you to be relaxed in our restaurants. So we don't want them stuffy. That's why we have the music. We have the TVs. We have the distractions. We're not the place where you're going to come and do your Zoom call, but we're the place where you're going to come in and have a smile, Hopefully you're going to laugh and you're going to enjoy your food and your experience, whether it's 20 or 35 minutes, whatever the new time is for fast casual experiences. And you're going to come in and you're going to walk out and go, man, I just had a great time in Big Chicken. And I feel that energy coming out of the staff and why Shaquille did this.
Yeah, and every time I've been to one at the height of happiness when Shaquille was going to be there and came, and everybody was jacked up. And I've been to ones, that I haven't even told you about, right? And that, I just go in and have the experience. And boy, the teams they do live that sort of mindset that it's just everybody's very happy to greet you, happy to have you, accommodating, want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you want. The food's made fresh, so yeah, you're gonna wait 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, maybe something like that to get a really high quality, great portion product. And then, look, I'm a sucker for a fantastic milkshake. As a matter of fact, I always end up with a milkshake instead of wait to the end and get an ice cream cone, because you can just get an ice cream cone, which I think's phenomenal. I love that. But yeah, I end up with a fantastic milkshake. I love that the flavors change all the time too. It's a phenomenal concept, but I do agree with you. I think the authenticity of the founder, who happens to be a celebrity, who happens to have a personality that everybody is familiar with, but to be able to translate that, there's a lot of celebrity owned businesses out there, right? And I'm not resonating with most of those. You're not really experiencing the love that was used to create the concept, I think, in most of those. But I think in this concept, it does. Tell me a little bit about the growth plan. What's going on? Where are you going? How you growing? Talk about the franchise system and the model that you have.
We're growing domestically across the U.S. We're going to open another 15 restaurants this year. We've opened in the United Kingdom at Co-op Live. We're going to go to Central America. It's really very non-traditional because of the opportunities that Shaquille and his reputation and network present to us on where we can grow and what we can do. What we do know is because of the non-traditional, we've been able early, as we are just an emerging brand. I mean, and at the end of the day, Troy, if you think about it, we started selling franchises September 3 years ago, so we're not even 3 years into this, right? And many would say and have said we're crazy for being on Carnival Cruise Lines and in all these stadiums. But what that has done for the brand is it's given us a wide range of exposure. It's given us a wide opportunity to test our flavor profiles. And honestly, Carnival has been a great blessing to the brand because we get thousands of passengers on there. We've actually done franchise deals from those being on Carnival cruise ships, right? Because it gives the masses exposure to us as we start to build the franchise system, right? No brand wakes up tomorrow and says, hey, I've got 50 boxes open, right? In their first year of franchising. I mean, it's unheard of because it takes time to get a lease and do the construction, right? Yep. Those are just, it's just not as fast as we can move, and the fastest we've done it is 12 weeks from the time that license permit has been issued, right? But it takes time. So you have to, we're building, we're growing, we're developing, we're looking for those opportunities where we can bring the big flavor, big fun attitude into markets and stadiums and arenas with a partner at Oakview Group has just been absolutely tremendous. The fact that we're in NHL arenas, we're in Major League Baseball, and we're in NBA. I mean, we're covering all the big bases. And we're having fun with it, right? And we're exposing people to the brand. So then when we bring the restaurants to market, people can then get it more on a regular basis. So it's an exciting time. It's non-traditional. You know me long enough. I'm not an inside the box guy. I'm definitely an outside the box guy. So my personality and strategy fit in. And, I'm just fortunate that, I got the call from Josh Halpern, who I've known for a decade, and said, we've always talked about doing something. We got this journey ahead of us. What are you thinking? And, off and running we go. So again, it goes back to the people that then you bring through what
Yeah.
And that's the perfect tandem of them. But again, it all boils down at Big Chicken to the food. And, every year on Shaquille's birthday, we give away ice cream cones for free. It's a great promotion and it's catching fire. We've done it 2 years in a row. We'll do it as long as Big Chicken is operating on his birthday. We're going to be giving away free ice cream cones. But you're right. That's what we do and how we do it. And we're having some fun.
That's amazing. Awesome stuff. Well, Sam, as we wind down this conversation, typically, I want to have a little fun. And you're always up for good fun. If you ever get a chance to go to a conference where Sam has anything to do with the presentation of one or more of the sessions, you're going to have fun. At the end of the day, I can assure you it's going to be a faux boxing match over facts, or all kinds of costumes and fun stuff happening. Let's talk about the big boss. What's the most you've seen that man eat in one sitting? Because if you've had, I know you've had the chance to sit down with the Shaquille when he's having a meal. I mean, is it 42 chicken sandwiches? Like, what are we looking at here when the boss is eating?
It's I've seen him do 3 chicken sandwiches, 2 fries, and a gallon of pineapple cream soda.
Ooh, pineapple cream. Now I got to go to Big Chicken.
It's on many of our fountains with Pepsi. It's a
Fantastic.
stubborn program.
Yeah.
It's sweet to the taste. Shaquille's got a sweet tooth. What's interesting is our sandwich, in everybody's normal hands, it looks like it's a massive sandwich.
Yeah. It's a good size.
In Shaquille's hands, Shaquille's hand from here to here is 8.5 inches. So think about a full sheet of paper, right? And he's holding the sandwich. So in the pictures, he has to hold it at the end because his hands are so big. I remember the first time I met him, he shook my hand and I lost my arm. And he's like horsing around, pulling me in and out. I'll never forget that moment in Vegas when I met him. And he's like, "Oh, you're the guy we hired from Chicago." And, we went on to telling stories. But yeah, he loves the food. His trainer Rock hates it when he's in the off season in Vegas near the Big Chicken. And, now it'll be off season in Dallas. We'll be opening them this year. So now we're starting to get him near his house. So we'll see if it changes from fried to grilled over a period of time or not. But he definitely loves a good chicken sandwich.
That's awesome. Sam, what's your favorite order at Big Chicken? You and I are popping in for lunch to a Big Chicken. What are you ordering? What's your favorite order at
so right now, because I've been on this big weight loss journey, I've actually been eating the salad with grilled chicken and a peanut butter and chocolate milkshake. I've been skipping the fries, but I've been going with the protein and the milkshake.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that the shake was a protein play.
That's it. That's what I'm quoting is the protein play. If I was doing the sandwich, I would go with the Uncle Jerome's Nashville Hot. Although I'm not a huge spice guy, the flavor in the Nashville Hot isn't offensive, and it's very flavorful. So I really enjoy that. So if I'm going to have a sandwich, I'm going Uncle Jerome. There are times where I will go tender, and I want some buffalo sauce to dip those giant tenders that we have in. So,
well, that's one of the fun things about the brand is there's quite a few sauces to choose from too. You got the whole sauce pump department. You can go over there and mix and match all your sauces the way you want to. It's
no doubt. And then what we do is Troy, and what's very unique is we have a jalapeno slaw as a side. And what most people don't know is vinegar-based slaws, when you're eating saturated fats, actually helps your digestive tract.
Here we go.
So you have a little bit of slaw Sam's with that. You don't feel so bad, and then you can get to the gym and work it all off. So,
well, we know you've been at the gym. This man's lost some weight and gotten real serious about healthfulness here and later in his days, these recent days. All right, last question, super important. If we had a pepper lunch restaurant in your neighborhood, how often would you go?
That's a loaded question. I would say from my experience now, every time I'm in Vegas, I have been going to pepper lunch because I do like the protein options that you have, Troy. So, as a friend and the fact that I eat out basically 7 days a week, it would be in my rotation of 1 out of 7 days.
There you go.
So I'd be like a super user.
I love the protein play. Protein, you could set the rice aside and eat some great grilled protein and veg.
I want to talk about that loyalty program that you guys are going to deploy here, because what do I get as a super user? Because a super user using the Big Chicken loyalty through our partner at Thanks, you can actually earn a cruise for 2 on Carnival Cruise Lines. It's in
my gosh. Catalog. Of course. That's an amazing perk. Now you're laying the bar, man. You've set the bar way up here. Now I've got to figure out how many points do you accrue to be sent to Tokyo and have pepper lunch in Tokyo. See, now I got to come up with some big 1,000,000-point program or something. Hit 1,000,000 points like a frequent flyer mile, and we're going to fly you and maybe one other person to Tokyo. I don't know. See, now you're putting me on the spot.
Hey, you heard it here, folks, on the Pineapple Perspective. a trip to Tokyo with Troy for the Super User of the Year. So
You got it. You got it. Awesome stuff. Sam, it's always awesome catching up with you, my friend. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks for bringing some phenomenal value to the listener. I think there's a lot of great lessons in there. If people are looking to connect with Big Chicken or Sam Stanovich, how do they find you, and how do they find the brand?
Well, the brand is everywhere, so all you have to do is hit the Big Chicken on the Google. But to get a hold of me, it is on all the social sites. It's at Chicago_Sam. And then if you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's Samuel Stanovich. Please reach out to me. Happy to connect, happy to share. I share my journey through Big Chicken, through image and documents and videos out there. So love to connect with people, love to learn about people. This is a people industry. If you don't love people, you're in the wrong industry. And I would say in closing, think about who's on your board of directors, Troy, that personal board of directors.
Absolutely.
And let's go out, have a great time, make 2024 the best ever. Make sure you go to the doctor, get your annual physical, work on your health. We have to enjoy our time and make sure that you take the time with your family, your friends, and what's important, because tomorrow's not promised. So enjoy today.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Couldn't say it better, my friend. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Sam. Thank you for listening to The Pineapple Perspective. If you loved today's episode, leave a review and a 5-star rating. I look forward to welcoming you back next time.